Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday edition of the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, your host, and I'm going to get into the disclaimer, and then we're going to get into the topic of the conversation today after I say hello to everybody. And our topic today is haunted and possessed dolls. Okay, there's some things that I have found out over my years of paranormal research and investigations, and I'm going to relay some information to you guys that some of you might have an idea of what it has to do with the haunted dolls, and others may have never even heard this theory before. But anyways, let's get into this. Copyright disclaimer is Nighthawk Eye Strange. This podcast channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk Eye Strange. This podcast channel, all the podcasts on channel declare fair use of any and all content to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only. And let's not forget entertainment value. Per Section 17, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as the Fair Use Act. Okay, let me get that off of there. Put something a little bit more appreciative to for you all to see. Okay, let's go to the comment section and say hello to everybody. All righty, we have Ray. Good to see you, Ray. Roxanne, good to see you. Sharon, good to see you. Juno, brother, good to see you. Man, I still want to get out there to Dulce, but New Mexico, Juno. I really do. Just so you know, Cynthia, good to see you. Okay. Everybody just say hello. Keep the conversation rolling, if you will, please. And I'm going to get into the part of the topic that we are looking forward to. Haunted dolls. In fact, I'll expand on that too. Haunted dolls, divot boxes, even stuffed animals, like teddy bears and stuff like that, all seem to have a certain, how do I want to say this? A je ne sais quoi about them. Okay. Most of them are haunted by just plain old ordinary malevolent spirits. Okay. It's a theory that I have that dolls cannot, or any inanimate object cannot have a demonic attachment to it, but under the one exception. Okay, now think about this exception. Okay, I want you all to hear this and think about this, and tell me if you what you think about this. Okay, if demons have to haunt or possess an object with a soul, that would be a human being, correct? Or an animal or something along that lines. Okay, because I do believe animals have souls. Okay, but if you take a doll or a stuffed animal or even a divot box or a piece of furniture and you give it a name, you literally name that inanimate object, you're breathing life into that object. And what happens after that? A demon can take the opportunity to possess that object and to haunt it. You see, if we open up a doorway for these demonic entities to get into inanimate objects, and we name the objects, you know how people name their car or their truck, you know, Betty Lou or Big Jake, you know, or something like that. You know what I mean? You're giving that inanimate object a purpose in your life. In other words, you're connecting your soul to that inanimate object. You see what I mean? And now a demon can come in and they can literally take over and possess that inanimate object, because that gets them one step closer to you. Yes, you. Okay. Haunted dolls are a big thing. Okay. Demonic possession dolls are getting bigger because people are naming their inanimate objects. You buy a little Susie a doll, a cute little, doll. Let's take Lily, for example. Gorgeous little Lily here, She got her name, and soon after, weird stuff started happening around the owner's home. They would come home, they would find things out of place, and I'm not just talking small objects like a lost set of keys or something. We're talking like chairs that have been moved and stacked on top of tables, cabinet doors that have been open. They've even had the opportunity to manipulate flames off of a gas stove by turning the gas stove on. Okay. Now, these things happen because obviously a demonic possession of the doll, because the doll was given a name. Okay. And now that doll is connected soul wise to its owner, which in most cases is going to be a little girl. Okay. Or a little boy. Okay. Which doesn't make it any easier on a child. And then we wonder why these children have nightmares, or they see the hat man, the red-eyed hat man, shadow person in the doorway of their closet, or there's monsters under their bed, that type of a thing. It's all connected, people. It is all connected. Okay. Yes, Lily was left on the daughter's bed, and when they came home from getting groceries, doing whatever errands they were doing, she was mysteriously sitting at the top of the stairs, on the top step, looking down the stairs. Now, that is a haunted, possessed doll if it can move that distance, okay? And it takes something a little stronger than your average human being on the other side, to take a doll and pick it up and move it that distance, okay? Because that was well over 40 feet that a doll traveled, okay? Now, a demonic entity could do it, okay? And a demonic entity will make you feel like your daughter's doll, or your son's doll, action figure, whatever you want to call it, that's haunted, is haunted by a child. Okay, often these beings portray children because it's a less malevolent and evil way of of introducing themselves to the owner of the object. Okay, now we get into, let's see what the comments say. I'm going to leave Lily up there for a little bit. There's that E.D. Testerman again. Good morning, Eric. Blue Doe, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Uncut Savage, good to see you. Boy, it's nice to see everybody in the house today. Welcome, family. Sharon, good to see you. Welcome, family. My weirdo warriors, my extended family. All right. Anyways, getting back to Lily. She is a pretty creepy looking doll, don't you think? Tell me what you all think. I think she is. Why she's got the Kiss war paint on her face is beyond me. The old rock band Kiss. Boy, Gene Simmons would be proud. All right. And we have other objects, like I said, like divot boxes, and even like when people go to an antique store, I bet you they're not even thinking about the object having some kind of evil attached to it. or some kind of tragic past attached to it. Say you bought a dresser from an antique store, okay, and in that dresser for years and years and years, it kept a person's clothing and personal items that were sacred to that person, okay. If that person has established that piece of furniture to be a part of them by accepting all of its personal items, all of the person's personal items, and storing them over a long period of time, that could be interpreted as giving life to that inanimate object. Okay. It's like when I pick a stone up, okay, just a regular stone, nice round stone, and I hold it in my hand, and it's the size of the palm of my hand, and I hold it up and I say, "Oh, Tukashila, grandfather, I have this stone. I can feel Mother Earth's heartbeat." You know, you will literally feel a heartbeat rhythm in that stone. Gave that stone life. Now, that stone, if I take it with me, okay, or I heat that stone up in the fire of a sweat lodge, what do you think's going to happen? It's going to open a doorway for evil entities and beings to come in to the sweat lodge and have a demonic sweat. In other words, you're going to open up a portal, basically a spiritual portal to this realm that you really don't want in ceremony, okay, or in life in particular, okay. And that's where a lot of the problems lie. We as human beings have forgotten that sacred message that was taught to our ancestors so long ago, that when we speak with our words, we give forth the breath of life. Okay. Now, I don't mean life literally, like we can conjure Lazarus from the dead like Jesus did. What I mean is we give forth the energy, our energy into that object, and it energizes that object. Okay. That's what I mean. Okay. Now, we have dolls like Robert. How many of you have met sweet, innocent Robert here? Would you like to know that Robert is responsible for a lot of wicked stuff to happen in his cute little sailor outfit and holding his teddy bear? Robert is a doll that was possessed and is still currently possessed, that is held within a glass enclosure. And they do sell, aftermarket replicas of this doll, just like they do Lily and all the other dolls. Annabelle from the movie. How many of you freaked out over that movie, Annabelle? But Robert is the same thing. He's been known to move around and move objects and all that, and basically cause havoc and bad things to happen to people. That you know he doesn't, if he doesn't give you the opportunity to pick him up, you don't pick him up, okay? Because if you touch him, you're going to open yourself up to something, okay? And that's the other part that we're going to get into too. All right. Now, I'm going to have to make this a little shorter today because of the way I'm feeling. All right. And you all know I had to take yesterday off, but I'm not doing too good today. So, anyways, yeah, Roxanne, you wouldn't want one? Come on. Ida, you don't want Robert or Annabelle or anybody? No, Roxanne, Annabelle's probably the one you're thinking of. Um, then you have the Ragged Ann and Andy dolls too that a lot of people say are haunted. So Robert is a pretty famous one, and Lily is a very famous one. Um, these dolls are creepy, even if they're not possessed or haunted by any ways, shape, or means. Okay. You would never imagine a doll could be so evil that it would manipulate objects and manipulate things in the owner's life that it's attached to. And if it is a demonic attachment, that demonic attachment is waiting patiently because the demon knows that that doll is attached spiritually to you, the owner. Okay. And when you, the owner, finally break down that wall, that defensive wall finally breaks down from all the misfortune and evil things that this doll is manipulating, this possessed doll is manipulating in your life. Once that defensive wall is broke down, that gives that demon the opportunity to possess you, the owner. See, there's a vicious cycle there. Okay. Roxanne, what'd you say? Let's see. I had some strange dolls in my life. Would let them in my would let them in my room and play with them. Mm. Yeah, the Living Dead dolls do look possessed already. But I mean, you can say the same thing about Lily too. You know, Lily's basically the same way. I mean, you put that kind of paint on the doll's face, and you either you're going to stick a electric guitar in her hands and pretend that it's Gene Simmons, or you're going. In fact, it even has Gene Simmons hair. That's funny. Okay, and or you're going to put a butcher knife in its hand. So, but possessed dolls come in all shapes and sizes. We all know that. Okay, how about that island in Mexico called Doll Island? Okay, how many of you know about that? That is an island that a family used to live on. It was their estate, and they had a caretaker. And apparently, the child, the young girl, drowned in a swampy pond area of the property. Okay, and she passed away. And the caretaker tried to save her, but he couldn't. He couldn't save her. Okay. Um, Soon after that, the caretaker would go out to the pond, the place where the tragedy happened, and put a doll up for the little girl to play with on the other side. Well, that first doll led to literally hundreds, if not thousands, of dolls being put everywhere on this island, on the cabins, on the shacks, on the trees, on rope tied from tree to tree. Everywhere you go, there's dolls. On the dock, there's trees. The trees, there's dolls. You know, everywhere. Literally thousands and thousands of dolls have made their way to that island from people visiting that island, and some people even being in the paranormal field. Um, I personally would not want to go there. Those dolls have been caught on camera looking one way, and then their heads turn and look at the person that's filming them, literally. So, and a lot of those dolls look like this one that's up on the screen right now. But we have to remember that, you know, even though dolls are meant to be an innocent, just plaything, Kyle, good to see you. Um, Dolls can affect you, okay? Because if you're a child, you have like almost like an unconditional love towards that doll, okay? And that's why you give it the name, like little Susie, or little Johnny, I mean, it's just a thing, as soon as you name an inanimate object, it breathes life into that object. Okay. And I don't mean like Lazarus being raised from the dead. Again, I'll say, but it breathes an energy into that object. And that gives the demons, the demonic, and even the unclean, evil human spirits a chance to, inhabit that doll, you know, and any inanimate object. The one things that there's several different things. If I go to an antique store or a resale store, like say even Goodwill, okay, how many people go into a Goodwill store or an antique store and they're thinking, oh well, if I buy this, maybe something's going to be attached to it. Maybe I shouldn't buy it. No, they don't. They don't think about that. Okay, at least not everybody. There might be a few of us out there that think that, but those few of us out there that think that can get a feeling from the energy coming from the doll. So we'll know if something is unable to be purchased without something happening. So Kyle says, one thing I don't want part of is the dolls. I hope action figures aren't like some of these dolls. Uncut Savage says, well, Savage, I hate to say it, but if you got yourself a G.I. Joe and it was owned by a young boy that lost his father in Vietnam or in Desert Storm or something along that lines, I would not be surprised if that action figure is not haunted in some way, shape, or form. Now, whether it's demonic or not, it would have to, it's already given a name by its manufacturer, so it could be a demonic spirit. And that's the other thing, too, I wanted to bring up. Back in the day, they never used to name dolls when they made them. Okay, and I'm talking back in the 1890s and stuff like that, way back in that era. They never used to really name the dolls when they made them. Okay, because it was superstitious. Okay, somewhere along the line of history, the manufacturers of these dolls, and the average doll started out being made out of, Native Americans made dolls out of buckskin, corn husks, that kind of stuff. But in Europe, they were making porcelain dolls, and porcelain is a type of material that is conductive to being an absorption type of a material to use for a doll. And it's a projection of the faces were so realistic with the porcelain dolls that, they started naming these dolls, okay, over in England and other parts of the European nations. As soon as manufacturers started naming dolls, that's when the problems occurred, okay? So, but to go further with this, think about this. If dolls were never named, how would the demonic attach themselves to, say, you? Okay. Now, one thing to consider is girl gone, good to see you. One thing to consider is if you don't have a doll that's been named, okay, but you have a pet or you have a child, okay, then that demonic entity is going to attempt to go either in the pet or the child to get to you, okay? That's where it lies. So I don't know if back in the days when they were making these dolls, they made a decision to name them, like Susie Squirts a lot, you know what I mean? Um, there's all kinds of companies out there making these dolls now, and there's probably even some people out there making these dolls with ill intent and with harm to be meant for the prospective buyers. Okay. You can liken it unto like a voodoo doll. Okay. Now, when my parent, my elder, was teaching me about making the dough dolls and stuff, and she would make the dolls out of dough, okay, with an object from the person put on the doll, so the person's spirit could be attached to that doll, so the spell that was cast upon that voodoo doll would be inherited into the person's life, if you know what I mean. It would be transferred from the doll to the person. You see, that voodoo doll is a conduit. And what do I always say? We are conduits. We are conduits from Mother Earth to Grandfather Sky. Okay. So basically we're taking an object. We're putting a piece of somebody's, say, hair on the object, on the doll, and we give that doll that name of that person that little piece of hair came off of. Okay, and now we give that doll an identity, and we cast a spell upon that doll. And when we cast a spell upon that doll, we're asking to have the evil, demonic part of the darkness to basically possess that doll and grant whatever spell is being cast upon the doll. Okay. And then we take that doll, well, like my mother used to do, she used to toss the doll in the trash can underneath the trash bag and not remove it for weeks on end. And the person that the doll was made for would stink like garbage, and they wouldn't be able to get rid of the stink no matter how many baths or showers they took, tomato baths, it didn't matter. They would literally stink like garbage until my mother would take that doll out of the trash can and put it somewhere else. That is the hauntings that I mean. Okay. All right, Dawn, good to see you. Now, to go even further with that, okay, we need to look at certain things that attach themselves to dolls. Okay. And it's not just demons, like I said, it's also just, malevolent, evil human being spirits. Okay. Um, if you take take the movie Chucky. Okay. Everybody knows the movie Chucky with the Chucky doll. Okay. And how it was possessed by a serial killer, basically, terrorist, whatever you want to call them. And the doll used to go around, stabbing people and all that. And then it led on to other dolls being possessed, like the seed of Chucky, which was another doll. Okay, supposed to be Chucky's son, and Chucky's other half. You know, it could snowball. The premise of that movie was to teach you that things that can be having a demonic attachment to it or an evil attachment to it could snowball and go into other stuffed animals, dolls that you have that have already been previously named too. You see what I'm saying? So if you've got a room full of dolls and every one of them is named, eventually you could have a room full of demons. And none of us want that. So, but that's just, if you name it, you're better off basically not naming it. Okay. You're better off calling it a doll or her or she. Give it a pronoun, okay? We'll give it a pronoun. You know, um, that's what I would do. Excuse me. I gotta take a sip of coffee, guys. Hold on a second. Okay. Coffee makes it easier for me to breathe because it expands my esophagus, my rebuilt one. Um, as I was saying though, if you have a room full of dolls, you're better off not having a room full of dolls. Or if you do, I would actually probably not go in that room ever again. But that being is going to be accessible to every area of your property, even outside, because it knows your limits. Okay, that doll could eventually make it to the way of your back seat of your car. It could make its way to the very corner of your property. Okay, because the spirit or demon that inherits the life of that doll that goes within that non-biological doll that you named and gave life to can travel anywhere on your property that it wants to. Okay, if it goes beyond that, then it's a very, very powerful entity, and that's where the problem lies. Okay, the more you see these types of dolls move around, or you set it one place and it's a room 40 feet from where you set it, you know the more active that doll is, the stronger the being that's inside that doll, the entity that's inside that doll, is going to become over time. Okay, it's like a divot box. Okay, and we all know about divot boxes, or at least I hope you do. A divot box was designed to basically, it was designed by the Hebrew, the Jewish faith, to basically ask a place for the jinn, the evil jinn, to possess the object inside and get trapped inside, so that the jinn wouldn't bother the family. Okay, pretty much that's the rundown. That's the short of it. Okay, I'm not going to get into the detailed explanation, but and I don't know if you've all heard of jinn, but that is a very, very demonic type of a spirit. Okay. You can claim that it is even like your Middle Eastern type of a demon, because it really is. Okay. And it has a lot of spiritual power. So they are very, very particular over there. And Eric can tell you this too. They're very, very protective of their objects and stuff over there in the Middle East, because what they consider they have is basically valuable to them. Okay, and they like to have their stuff protected. Okay, and in order to protect their stuff, they got to keep the evil away, so they lock them up into these divot boxes. Okay, now the only way to handle a divot box, and trust me, I know people that have burnt these things and they don't realize, and this is something that I have to really, really stress with you guys. Let me take this picture down. I have to stress this with you guys. Okay, oh god, look at me. Anyways, yeah, I'm not feeling good with divot boxes, and even furniture. Okay, just regular furniture. Brett, good to see you. Even just regular furniture, like, I know these people. They meant good. They had good intentions, okay, but they burnt this box that they thought was possessed, okay. And when you're burning something like that, okay, especially a divot box, you're incorporating it to release itself and cause even more havoc in your life and the lives of people that are attached to you. Okay? Because, see, that demon's not going to see just solely you, it's going to see your children. It's going to see in the future of your children's children and your children's children's children, if you know what I mean. And this possession can go on and on and on. This can be a long distance type of a span of a demonic possession, which could basically curse the entire family. Okay. Now, I know of an Amish community where an Amish family. Oh, thank you, Brett. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Um, an Amish family, they have, Amish people, they have the greatest carpenters. Okay, they really do. They are really, really skilled. Okay, very beautiful furniture, beautiful, structures that they make. Now, when an Amish family, when the last person of an Amish family dies, okay, whether it's natural causes or whatnot, um, the one in particular I'm thinking of, um, died of he was murdered. Okay, um, some vicious triangle type of a situation apparently. Okay, and basically they had this furniture and stuff from this individual's home that they had this guy, this carpenter, the best carpenter of the thing, take, and he was supposed to, you know, get rid of the wood. Okay. And he didn't. He actually made a beautiful set of chairs, tables, and stuff out of this wood, the furniture from this wood in his house. Little did he know that when he sold that furniture to the next Amish family, or traded, whatever they do, they barter, that Amish family inherited evil. Okay, every person that inherited a piece of furniture that he made from the wood from this property that this tragedy happened at in the Amish country, um, everyone that bought a piece of the wood that was made from that, for their homes, had problems. Whether it was dying cattle, sour milk. If your milk goes sour, they say that's demonic. Okay. That's why you see those nice little stars on buildings out there in Amish country. Okay. It's a protection. Okay. That's all it is. It's to keep the evil away from affecting the farm, and affecting the animals and all that. Um, no, jinn are a, yeah. See, that's the thing. Everybody, uncut. Everybody basically. We can thank Disney for that. Okay, I hate to say it that way, but jinn are a type of a genie, but genies were portrayed to be in the good light. You know what I mean? They were portrayed to bestow upon its owners three wishes. Okay, that's actually an old tale. Okay, and we can thank, like I said, Disney for making that seem like it's a pleasant thing. Usually, a genie or a jinn is going to want something ultimately for giving you, granting you wishes. Okay, and that and there lies the trap. Okay, if you rub the bottle, okay, and the genie comes out of the lamp, you release that genie into the world, or that jinn into the world, to do whatever it wanted. That's the first thing it wanted, the wish. Okay. That was the genie's wish to come out of the bottle. Okay. Jinn are the same way. Jinn do not like to be contained. Okay. They don't. All right. Now, as I was saying with the Amish, he basically, everybody started bringing that furniture back to him, and he actually admitted to the head elder Amish person of the community. He told them that, yes, I made it from that wood that you told me to get rid of, and he's basically the elder of the Amish community ordered everybody that bought a piece of that furniture from the guy to take it back to and return it to him so he could dispose of it, so all the bad luck would stop. Damos, good to see you. Good to see you. So basically, they all returned the furniture, the Amish furniture, okay? And what he did is he burned it in a big pile, okay? Once it all burnt down, okay, he took those ashes from that wood and he put it into the ground, mixed it up into the soil, and he planted a tree in that soil, okay? Now, this is the thing. This is how powerful this entity was, okay? That tree grew. That tree grew to be a very big, scary looking, like I call them hanging trees. And you all know what I mean by a hanging tree. Just very, very scary type of branches that are thick and just look like a snake undulating through the sky. That kind of a tree. Um, Anyways, make a long story short, that tree never grew leaves. That tree lived, but it was at the same time, it also was dead. Figure that one out. That's because of the evil being that was in that furniture. Okay. And that, in itself, I recently started going out to look for Yahwehs. I'd love to see one, but a good, friendly one. I don't know if you're going to find a good, friendly one there, my brother. I don't know. Okay, let's see. William, have you ever taken I'm spelling it? Yeah, with echinacea. Yeah, yeah, I have. Unfortunately, the effects of my breathing are from the surgery, from when they made my stomach my new esophagus, and they pulled my stomach up to my throat and connected it. Because I don't have a stomach anymore. I have a straight shot down with maybe a little size of a $half type of a stomach. But the cancer was too big. They had to take the majority of my esophagus out. So, anyways, that's a whole nother story. You don't want to hear that. Yeah, yeah, there is a story of that too. And that's the other thing too. Um, when it comes to witchcraft, stay away from it. I mean, if something gives you an ominous feeling in your gut and your gut hurts and you get a headache and you have a feeling that if you buy something at like an antique store or from the Amish or whatnot, you know, or from say, you know, any thrift store really, Catholic thrift stores, all kinds of stuff. Um, if anything gives you that kind of a feeling that you shouldn't buy it, don't buy it. That's the way we have to protect ourselves. That's why God made us a certain way, okay? To protect ourselves, to give us those feelings, that connectivity to everything, okay? So we have to really, really be cautious, okay? So yeah, Well, I don't worry about my lungs. See, this is right now, what I'm going through right now is eating and stuff and breathing is difficult because of the first surgery. That was my first cancer battle, by the way, esophageal cancer. That's not the only cancer I've had. I had colon cancer too, and they removed that. Um, I currently have a spot in my left lung, okay, which makes it difficult to breathe apparently because it's progressed. But at one point, I almost aspirated to death from the first cancer and all that stomach acid because they couldn't. There's no way to control the stomach acid. Okay, so, and it has to stay in that new esophagus. Well, apparently I laid down too flat one night, and the stomach acid went down into my lungs, and it burned, and it scarred a lot of my lungs, and like the whole bottom half of my lungs are just crystallized, so it makes it hard for me to breathe. Okay, so that's the other part of the breathing problem. But I also have a non-cancerous mass on the back of my brainstem, so um, which is why I lose my vision sometimes, or I lose my ability to walk sometimes. I mean, it's a lot of different things going on. It's not just one specific thing that I could fix with a pill. Trust me, I've tried everything. So Brett's cat used to drink peroxide. Wow, I bet you that cat had beautiful teeth. Peroxide's a teeth whitener too. Anyways, getting back to the dolls, guys. We always need to remember, okay, that we are not really meant to give life to and breath to the objects, okay, that are in our lives. And it's like I've said, if you name it, you're giving it life. You're breathing that life into it. Morning, Poncho. You're giving that life into it, okay? And basically, once you do that, you're giving the demonic an opportunity to possess that doll, okay? As soon as you name it, it's like, well, here's another way of looking at it too. The movie Christine with the car, okay? The car had tragedy in its past from a previous owner crashing and dying, okay? And the owner of the car, the next owner of the car, come along to save the car, to rebuild it, named it Christine, and that car became demonically possessed, okay? Well, how they tell that the demonic actually, possess a car? Well, because you named that car, you breathed the energy of life into that inanimate object. We have power in our words. That's what it comes down to. Okay. And when you breathe that power by naming something, you're giving the breath of energy and life to that object, that inanimate object, which allows that object to be possessed, okay, and to be haunted. Okay. That's the short and the long of it. All right. So you have to keep that in mind, guys. You really do. All right. You have to be careful because, you know, there's some religions in the world that say we have God within us. Okay. And yes, the Creator designed us to be like Him, but not Him particularly. No one can be. Oh, thank you. Thank you very, very much for that. The Creator intended us to be like Him, but not godly. Okay, that's one thing. I don't believe that man can become God. Okay, man can become powerful. Man can become extremely powerful. I've been there. Okay. I mean, I used to be able to manipulate people's minds when I was younger, and going through the Native American black arts, you know. So, you consider that, and that's why I always try to emphasize to people that our words have power. It really does. Okay. So the fact that we have these inanimate objects in our lives, when we use our words to name that object or to give that object a reason to live, then that's when the demons can move in, or even the just malevolent spirits can move in on that and possess that doll or that piece of furniture or that stuffed animal or that action figure. So, and to be honest with you, I probably nowadays wouldn't even buy a doll that was pre-named from a toy store, because you never know. You know, the owner of the toy store could be part of the Luciferian cult. You know, they could be part of a covenant. They could be an evil type of a type of black magic. So you just you need to really be careful with your words. Okay. So I hope this helped everybody this morning. I'm going to take it easy the rest of the day because I am just not really feeling it very well. And I appreciate everybody being here this morning. I really do. Like, heart, and share this out if you can, please. Yeah, I heard the apricot seeds are good. In fact, I've talked about that already on this show several times, about seeds and how it says in the Bible we're to eat the seeds too of the fruit. So don't go to the store and buy watermelon without seeds, because that's not real watermelon. Okay. Don't go to the store with buying bananas and not finding those little black, um, seeds in the banana, you know, because we're supposed to eat the seeds. Okay. Seeds are a way of God showing us that we can grow more. Okay. Another thing I want you all to do too, and this is just suggestions, okay? Try not wearing shoes outside. Just walk around your property, and in the dirt around your property and on the stones on your property, and make that connection to Mother Earth that way with your bare feet every now and then. You don't have to do it all the time. Just do it every now and then. Take your shoes off and feel the grass between your toes. We weren't meant to wear shoes, okay? We weren't meant to not feel things beneath our feet, okay? And I guarantee that once you do that, and once you start to realize that there's more to us than just the husk that we're in, you know, we'll grow more. Okay, we'll become more. We'll be more centered, more grounded, more focused, more healthy, because walking around without your shoes on, not only is it good for your energy, your chi, it's also good for the pressure points that are on your feet, which connect to every part of your body. Okay. So walk around, yeah, the stones may hurt the first couple times you walk on them, but go ahead and walk on them. If you cut your foot, put a damn band-aid on it. Suck it up, buttercup. You need to have that touch of Mother Earth, or you need to have that connection. Okay. So you work those pressure points by walking on gravel. After a while, it's going to feel good. You're going to be out there every day doing it. I guarantee it. Because it'll make your lower back feel better. It'll make your kidneys feel better. It'll make you breathe better. The whole thing. The whole thing. Okay. Just my bit of advice. Okay. Everybody, I want to thank you, okay, for being here. And I might head on to the Yahweh hunt, drive through the bush. Hope you start feeling better. Thank you, Brett. Thank you very much, brother. And if you need anything, message me, okay? If anybody in chat needs anything, message me, okay? Um, I will definitely do what I can to help, okay? Oh, Ida, I don't blame you, Ida. That is, I would not want to live in Arizona right now with that heat. I'm sorry. I mean, I know a lot of people that live in their vans in Arizona, you know, they're van lifers, and they've been going to Colorado 9,000 feet up to get away from the heat. And it's still like 80 some degrees up there. So, yeah. So, yeah, I feel you there. Man, I would figure out some way to put air conditioning in anywhere I'm at if I lived in Arizona. So, Sharon, good to see you. But yeah, there's a lot to Arizona. Wow. All right, everybody. Well, everybody, you have a great Sunday. God bless you all. You know, just as much as you pray for me, I pray for you all, that God protects you and that shows you unconditional love, and that, you know, you all deserve it. You know, we're all deserving of unconditional love, plain and simple. Okay, no matter what our past is. Okay, and I've had a shadowy past between the military and the way I was brought up. I had a shadowy past. And, you know, I just pray to God every day that, you know, I'm forgiven. So, but in that, everybody have a great, great rest of your weekend, okay? And I might be coming on sometime midweek to do something too. I might do another Midnight Monsters podcast or something along that lines. So I will see you all next time. At least next Friday, we'll be doing a podcast at 11 p.m. Eastern, Into the Red Rabbit Hole. And then on the bottom of the screen, there's the YouTube channel if you want to subscribe. Okay. And there's also the GoFundMe. And then there's also the link tree and bonfire store. That's right. So, you know, we got a lot of T-shirts on the bonfire store. And if you can, my brother Eric, who's unfortunately going through something right now with his family, that's why he couldn't be here today. So pray for Eric and his brother. Um, yeah, Unca Savage, that's true. Well, I mean, it's like the movie Christine, you know, with the red Thunderbird. You know, that car was possessed. I think it was a Thunderbird. It might have been something else. It might have been an old Buick. But anyways, yeah. If you give it a name, it's gonna. You're giving it a breath of life. So we have to be careful about that. Okay, we have to really be careful because that gives the entities, the evil entities, a chance to get inside that object and to possess the object. And a possessed object is not what we want. Okay, so that's like me telling you and Uncut Savage saying to everybody, don't pick up an arrowhead from the ground. Okay, because that's arrowheads, you know, they have power. Okay, whether you believe it or not, our spirits are connected to that power. Okay, so yeah, you don't want to take anything that doesn't belong to you from any type of a site. Okay, or even like the superstition mountains and stuff like that. I can go on and on, but I can't because I can't breathe. So everybody, love you all very much. God bless you. And I will see you all hopefully Friday night, but I might go and do something Wednesday night again, okay? So just look for it. We'll see you all later.